This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WLAK Daily News Roundup for Lake Air, 107.5 FM and 1260 AM in Amory.
For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly. The suspect in a Superior hit and run that left a 25-year-old woman celebrating her birthday seriously injured has officially been charged. According to the Superior Police Department, 34-year-old Michael Larson has been charged with hit and run causing great bodily harm. Law enforcement authorities say he turned himself in 5 days after the December 14th incident that sent Charlene Davy to the hospital. The Superior Police Department also executed a search warrant at his home, allegedly finding the damaged subject vehicle in the garage. An Ashland teen has officially been charged as an adult after being accused of shooting and killing his brother in Bayfield County. Authorities say they responded to a report of a suicide in the township of Keystone when they discovered the victim had been shot nearly 24 times. The 16-year-old allegedly told authorities his brother had shot himself first. He said he then shot his brother repeatedly afterwards to put him out of his suffering. An autopsy determined that the victim's cause of death was homicide due to multiple gunshot wounds. State Republicans have approved a constitutional amendment proposal for voter ID requirements on the April ballot. Requiring ID for voting is already the law in Wisconsin, but if voters approve to the amendment during the April election, it will be enshrined in the state constitution. State Democrats criticized the measure, saying photo ID requirements disproportionately makes it more difficult for people of color, disabled residents, and those struggling financially to vote. Governor Evers also renewed calls to allow citizens to propose constitutional amendments. The Rice Lake Police Department is investigating a forgery attempt at Johnson Bank earlier this month. According to a statement, a yet-to-be-identified individual reportedly attempted to cash a check at the bank with a driver's license and social security card that matched the name on the check. Bank officials say they refused to cash the check, however, as the suspect was not the same person as the driver's license. Authorities say the suspect is a white man who was wearing a neck brace, but bank cameras were unable to get a clear picture. Some Wisconsin residents are not a fan of the Department of Transportation's new winter road condition labels, starting a petition to bring back the old labels on the 511 Wisconsin app. The DOT uses the app to share road condition updates with drivers and recently replaced some labels like slippery and snow or ice covered with broader labels. They say the previous labels included conditions that could change quickly, leaving their map inaccurate at times. Critics say the old labels were important for delivery drivers who needed more specific updates. Governor Tony Evers is praising the Wisconsin Health and Educational Facilities Authority for their work supporting nonprofits across the state in 2024. According to a press release, the agency completed financing for 13 nonprofit organizations in 13 cities last year, issuing bonds totaling over $550 million. The agency's yearly review estimated that their efforts supported 47 direct jobs and over 3,000 construction jobs. Nonprofit borrowers included acute care, educational, and senior living facilities. A Superior man accused of leading a Wisconsin state trooper on a high-speed chase that reached speeds of nearly 140 miles per hour in Chippewa County has been charged. According to court documents, 20-year-old Matthew Plesko was charged with fleeing an officer, underage drinking, and speeding on an expressway in excess of 35 miles per hour. Plesko was allegedly seen by a state trooper driving 113 miles per hour on Highway 29 on December 14th and continued for 19 miles after the trooper attempted to pull him over. A Spooner man accused of accepting payment and not providing the agreed-upon services has been sentenced to pay a fine and restitution. According to court documents, 27-year-old John Green of Spooner was sentenced on reduced charges through a plea agreement in the theft by contractor case filed against him in Sawyer County Circuit Court. He was accused of accepting nearly $13,000 in payment in return for the agreed-upon services. The Sawyer County Sheriff's Office investigated the case. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers has signed an executive order creating and funding the Wisconsin Office of Violence Prevention. In the announcement on Tuesday, Governor Evers directed $10 million to the new office to begin working on prevention efforts for violence and gun violence issues. He's also announced his budget proposal will include comprehensive gun safety reforms and seek funding to make the new office a permanent fixture. The order comes in response to the deadly school shooting at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison. As bird flu begins to pop up across Wisconsin, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has announced it will begin rebuilding its bird flu vaccine for poultry to match the current strain. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services confirmed the first positive test in a poultry flock in Barron County in December, soon after confirming the first positive human case stemming from that infected flock, as well as another positive poultry test in Burnett County. State officials say they've been forced to depopulate over 73,000 birds in 3 commercial flocks so far. For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly.
The Bucks clobber the Kings. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NBA, the Bucks jumped out to an early lead and beat the Kings 130-115. Giannis with his 50th career triple-double. Milwaukee with a 21-2 run in the first quarter. Doc Rivers.
We came out, played the right way, ball moved. I think 7 or 8 guys had over 9 attempts. 45 threes. That just tells you the ball's moving. I thought defensively matched the offensive effort. And when we do that, we're pretty good.
College hoops, Greg Gard gets his 200th career win as Wisconsin held on to win 70-68 over Ohio State at the Kohl Center. David Joplin with 30 points as Marquette gets past DePaul in overtime, 85-83. NFL, Matt LaFleur on what does Jordan Love need to improve in year 3 as the Packers quarterback.
I think the next step is just to continue to evolve as a vocal leader. I think that just kind of comes with the position naturally, and I think he's taken steps to get there, but I think he can really demand a lot because the locker room, they respect him, not only as a person, but by the work he puts in. I mean, he's a grinder. I think that's one of his best qualities is he is one of the guys.
That's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Doors lead singer Jim Morrison was found dead in a bathtub in 1971. Some believe he faked his own death. A new docuseries, Before the End, Searching for Jim Morrison, takes a closer look at the rock star who was only 27 when he fled to Paris, supposedly to get away from fame. Director Jeff Finn features Morrison's brother Andy and his sister Ann, as well as archival footage as he dives deep into the singer's life and death. The 3-episode documentary can be streamed on Apple TV for $7.99. Stop the presses. Robert De Niro will be playing a gangster in a new mob film. If that's not fun enough, De Niro's rival gangster in said mob film will be played by Robert De Niro. The film Alto Nights will tell the story of a 1950s dispute between legendary New York gangsters Frank Costello and Vito Genovese, who were once best friends but became adversaries. The film will be directed by Barry Levinson. How great would it be if De Niro received an Oscar and a Razzie for the same movie? If you're looking for suggestions on how to get back at people who cheat on you, you might want to check out The Drew Barrymore Show. On one episode last year, Barrymore talked about how she spray painted and vandalized an ex's car who had cheated on her. Earlier this week, Barrymore told a guest she once made an ex-boyfriend who cheated on her watch her have drinks with the mistress before breaking up with him. If you do cheat on Drew Barrymore, don't get caught. Here's a Schwab-amendation for you action movie fans. Somehow the film The Old Guard flew under my radar, but I watched it over the weekend and really liked it. Charlize Theron stars in the film that was released in 2020 as her character leads a group of warriors who have been alive for centuries and fight those who try to prevent the progress of humankind. Their mission of staying anonymous is blown when a greedy scientist tries to capture them for their DNA. The film is a bit violent, but has great action and fight scenes and is full of surprise moments. 7-time Super Bowl champ and one-time husband Tom Brady has come under fire all year long for his on-air gaffes while providing color commentary during NFL games. During last week's game between the Packers and Eagles, Brady accidentally referred to the Eagles as the Phillies, then later in the broadcast referred to Packers running back Josh Jacobs as Brandon Jacobs. This comes on the heels of Brady forgetting the name of one of the teams that beat the Packers during a recent telecast. In addition to Brady misspeaking, when his broadcast partner talks to him, he often nods his head so much a viewer could get vertigo. Yeah, he's not that great, but people on social media are losing their minds over his missteps. Word to the wise, if it's brilliant elocution you're looking for, don't try to find it on an NFL pregame broadcast from the guy who took shots to the head well into his middle age. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
A little sunshine this morning, then becoming mostly cloudy and breezy this afternoon with a little light snow, maybe even a little freezing drizzle in a few spots. Our high in the mid-20s today. Tonight, breezy, mostly cloudy, 20 tomorrow. Mostly cloudy with a high right around 32. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 2 below zero.
That's your WLAK Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lakeair.radio. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.